Hi, I'm Brian Icenhower, and I'm here to talk to you about pricing your home. Oftentimes, people will have the misconception that if they wait to sell their home in an appreciating housing market, they'll actually be able to keep more of the proceeds from the sale of their home. I'm here to tell you, when we're talking about your primary residence, the price you sell your home for simply doesn't matter. In fact, I'm here to tell you it all comes out in the wash. And when I explain the concept of it coming out in the wash in real estate, I like to refer to a scenario that I personally experienced where I was actually at a neighbor's house where they had a barbecue in their backyard where there was close to 30 or 40 people in the backyard. And there was one person at the table next to me who had actually lived in that very neighborhood. And at this barbecue with all his former neighbors, he decided to explain, and in fact gloat, that he had sold his house a couple years prior when the housing prices were about $100,000 higher than what they were at that given time. So he was bragging about how he got out at the right time, and all of his neighbors now couldn't get nearly as much for their home as he did. To give you an idea of what that looks like, when we look at housing prices over time, he was bragging because he sold his home right up here at the top of the market. This gentleman actually sold his home for about $300,000. However, this was 2 years later, and we were living at about this time where the homes were selling for only $200,000. So he was kind of spoiling everyone's party by bragging that had his neighbors sold a couple years prior, they would have gotten more for their house. But what this gentleman didn't understand was that it all comes out in the wash. Because what he did was turn around and purchase a new home at $300,000. So he immediately lost $100,000 in value in his new home. So what I'm saying is, in effect, he was upside down $100,000 on the price he paid. The reason it always comes out in the wash is because you always replace your primary residence with a new residence. So these folks, the neighbors that were so disappointed by the comments made by this unruly neighbor, actually, if they were to sell at $100,000 less, they would be buying a house at a price of $100,000 less than their unruly neighbor did. So what I'm here to tell you is it never really matters whether you buy or sell at a high price or a low price, so long as you always replace that home with another home. So had you sold down here at $100,000, you would have bought low and sold at the very top of the market. You did what everybody said. You bought low, you sold high, so you gained $200,000. For now. For now. But then ultimately you have to sell again. Now, whether you sell low, you may lose $100,000, or you may wait to sell high again, and you would actually gain money, but again, you paid a higher price for it. So you're paying those higher mortgage payments for them. Ultimately, if you buy or sell again, it is always going to come out in the wash over time, so long as we're talking about your primary residence. So when you buy or sell a house when you want to move for your lifestyle. Buy or sell a house when it works for you, for your needs, for your family. Buy or sell a house to try to take advantage of low interest rates. But certainly don't try to time the purchase or sale of your home based on housing prices, because it always comes out in the wash.